Okay, so to end the day, maybe I'll talk about something non-digital than digital stuff that we have been talking about all day. So I think this is good that this is after Sajid's session, because what I'm going to talk about is what we do after usually the user research phase, where we've done all the idea, all the user research, we've done all the studies, we've kind of found out what Kyle likes, and then this is the phase where we come where we need to generate, once we know Kyle likes apple pies, and we want to make sure that we kind of make something. How do we make something which Kyle will buy, right? I mean, we want to get more ideas on the table so that we really get into the kind of generate as many ideas as possible. And usually what we try to do is kind of have some kind of brainstorming sessions or ideation phase where we gather a group of people into a room and give them all the feedback that we have gathered through the research phase, and then try to and probably think we have all the ingredients, and the magic should happen once we get out of the room. So usually we know, like, okay, usually how do we go about doing these brainstorming sessions? The rules we know. Okay, we should not judge the ideas. We should encourage all wild ideas. So pick up the thread from other person's idea, go ahead, build on it. And so this is like theoretically, this is how we all are supposed to be doing brainstorming sessions. But as soon as we get into this session, we realize that the problems are very poorly framed. Sometimes during after half of the session, we realize somebody just changes the problem statement, and we have to go through the whole pain again. Or they turn into a critique session where if somebody said something, okay, yeah, let's stick to this, let's drill it down until we kill it. So, so yeah, and then there is this feeling amongst many of the participants that they will not open their mouth, just feeling, anyways, this idea is going to be killed, so let's not even say it. Maybe that's because of the way certain sessions of these brainstorming sessions are run. And in the end, the result is that we are all worked up, we are all tired, and after 4 or 5 hours, or maybe even 6 hours of sessions, we come out of this room feeling, what did we just do? Did we achieve anything? And this is probably not the way, I would say, I can't generalize, maybe not every session goes like this, but we felt that most of the sessions we were part of were going in this way. And some of us who were really concerned about this came together and say, you know what, let's brainstorm why this is not working. But as I said, not everything ends up so messy. We eventually ended up creating something which turns out to be a board game, and it's there in front of me here right now, and I'll talk about the ingredients of the game here. So there are these 4 or 5 things. So first thing is this. There's a board here. It's got some numbers around it, and there's a small pin jutting out of this. Then we have these orange color cards. So this is not the latest version. There is a spelling mistake. This has got 2 P's and they are supposed to be 3 P's. Because we couldn't get the domain name, that's why. So we had to add an extra P there. So yeah, so this is the old deck I have. The other deck is in India, so I don't have it with me. But the orange cards or the yellows that you see there are all the issue cards, and the black ones, which are the red ones, there are the wild cards. And then these personas, which you see at the bottom, are all of these characters here, and they've got this small tiny pin here, which is supposed to go here. So And with each of these persona, there is a sheet, persona sheet associated, and we'll go about how to play this game one by one. So, as I mentioned, these issue cards are the ones. So, after having done the user research, we have come up with this bunch of issues that we want the group to brainstorm and think about some ideas. So, we write these issues at the back of these cards. There can be some, you can like either predefine the issues, or the group can on the fly add issues. Like with some of these blank cards, they can create their own issues. Then you always have some corner cases. So so if these are my use cases, then some of the use cases have this number at the bottom, which have a wildcard associated to them, and this would be my corner case. So there are kind of some issues where you want to brainstorm, but you also want to invert the situation and see what comes out of it. Like so this inversion of the issues or covering up all the corner cases is done through the wildcard. So so as you see, there is a so these are the wildcards, and they will have some number at the back. So you will just lay them down on the floor. So these will have like 1, 2, 3, and each of these persona, as I said, is represented by a character. So when a group comes into the room, you hand each one of these to individuals with a sheet of this paper. So they get some time to familiarize themselves with the person that they are going to represent and role play in the room. And throughout the day, they will be this person. They will not be themselves. Because we also observed, the reason why we did this was we observed that many a times during the brainstorming sessions, people started kind of responding based on their intuitions rather than users, they're feeling the users' problems. So they say, I would not like this, but no, it's not about you, no, it's about this person for whom you are going to build this product. So to keep the focus on the user, we enforce this by making them do this role play. Yeah, and the board is to kind of make everybody cycle through these issues very quickly. So I'll kind of explain it. This part I'll explain. I'll just talk, so I won't keep the slide here. But the way you start the game is once everybody has kind of understood who they are and who they represent, you start the game by putting this person in the kind of, you just put them here and you just rotate, and they will just talk. So their heads have a dot here. So that dot, wherever it stops, is that number card you pick up. So if it stops at 4, you just remove the 4 cards and pick the 5th one, and they will tell the rest of the group that, okay, I'm so and so, and I'm in this situation, and this is my problem. Now let's have, so everybody gets 3 minutes to put down their ideas on a piece of paper. Whether it's a sketch, it's a drawing, it's a text, it's a word, whatever they can come up with, they just quickly write down those ideas. And make sure that it doesn't take more than 3 minutes, because the more they think, the more they're going to spoil their thoughts. So, and during these 3 minutes, other group members can ask me questions. So if I don't know a certain thing about that person, I can ask, and that person can reply saying, whether, okay, do you have kids? Do you go out? What kind of clothes you like, or what brand you wear, or things like that. So this person can just make up, based on who they are representing, they can just make up answers. And once these 3 minutes are done, the next person puts their character here, and then their role. So immediately what happens is, you have changed the situation, you have changed the persona, and you are quickly, in 3 minutes, you are kind of shifting your focus away to a different topic. So you're kind of going across all these scenarios with different personas. And as soon as you hit a wild card, so if somebody ends up picking up a wild card, then first 3 minutes they will just discuss, okay, so this person in this situation, how do you solve this problem? And after the 3 minutes are over, you add a constraint that this person in this situation, say, with additional constraint, what happens? And this constraint could probably be just switching the whole situation around. So for example, when we were doing a workshop at IXDA, one of the situation was that, say, you are an international traveler and you are lost in, or you went to a restaurant last night and you don't remember where it is and you want to go there again. So what would you do? So people started thinking, okay, on his mobile you'll search and this and that, and the next wildcard associated to it is that you ran out of battery on your mobile. So all those ideas suddenly are gone. Then you completely rethink of the situation in an opposite direction. So that's how you play, and you quickly turn lots and lots of ideas. So this, because you are giving them very limited time to think on a situation, you are covering a lot of ground. Like you're not losing the focus from the user, you're not straying away from the issues, and you are even covering the corner cases. And the result we found was, these are some of the rationale behind why we kind of started this or designed this game. As I already said, this kind of having a defined questions always keep the discussions in the right direction. Time constraints makes you focus, and rather than just having loose thoughts. And so these are some of the pictures from the IXDA workshop we had in Amsterdam last year. And during the workshop, what we did was, we first half of the workshop, we just gave them a problem and told them to, as a group, just come up with ideas. Just do a brainstorming session as you would do. We gave them everything, and we gave them the research findings and everything that you would need to do the brainstorming, and they came up with X number of ideas. And then in the second half, we introduced the game, same situation, same problem, but play it in this constraint. And the number of ideas were kind of 4 times more than what they generated in the first session. So, and people already started, they want to buy the game, but SAP has so far not figured out a way of selling it. So
we talked about that. We talked about that.
Yeah. So I think, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Yeah.
Persona derived from some other prior work?
Yeah, so the first part of any design process, as I said, what Sajid also mentioned, and Audrey also mentioned, that you do user research and you collect all your data, whether it comes from marketing, it can come from sales, it could come from the field research or your own ethnographic research. All this data, when you put together and when you do the synthesis of that data, that's when your ideation phase starts, right after the synthesis of user research. So this is where you have already got that information.
So both personas as well as the cards.
Yes.
Have you used this successfully with SAP projects? Or?
Yeah, we did use it in 2 of the projects already.
What are the examples?
So one of them was Ganges. We used this while we were doing the user interface, and the Ganges is a classic example because when I got introduced into the project, they've been trying to figure out doing the user research for probably 2 years, and because it was a big problem, so they had been really collecting lots and lots and lots of data, and everybody who was in the product management was kind of knew what the problem is, and they even knew the solution. So when I got into the project and we kind of tried to understand, we figured out that they were kind of making too many decisions based on assumptions rather than actual facts and proper methodology. So once we used this, and the other project was one more project for the India team. This was for the client Usha. They are like the manufacturers of the fans, and they manufacture and sell industrial and domestic fans. So for them also, when we did this, we realized that the previous product was completely based on the CTO's requirements, and once we actually went and did this in a proper way and kind of did a full user research and through this game, we realized that the solution was exactly opposite of what the CTO was demanding, because if we did it right way, the employees would get more information which the company didn't want the employees to have. So it was kind of very political. But this helped us figure this out.
And have you encountered any resistance from people using the game format, or are they pretty much open to
No, they're open, because see, otherwise what happens, you call them for a discussion and they usually 1 or 2% people will have knowledge of what they want to discuss, but the rest of the group is really clueless. And as the discussion goes about, some of them already start feeling alienated because, you know, I don't understand what you're talking, or you probably have an already formed an opinion, so why call me? So I think this is to break that thing. So everybody, and if I don't like an idea, I can always say, oh, it's not me, it's this person who does not like this idea, right? So
have you found sort of an optimum time to make it?
yeah, so I think we figured out that after playing this for 45 minutes, people already felt they've been doing this for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's because it's very intense.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably about right time, because they feel really exhausted pretty soon.
Shorter brainstorm meetings.
It seems like it could even lend itself to, collaboration remotely.
Oh, yes.
Like through software, maybe,
Yes.
web.
That's right. One of the reasons why we kind of wanted a physical game was to, get people to really interact with each other in person and leave their gadgets and everything behind and come around the desk and shuffle the cards and rotate this thing, and kind of makes it very personal. But of course, it can be played virtually on the internet as well.
How generic would be this game solving technique? Like, I mean, the cards obviously have probably like focused question and focused things. So if you were to adapt this to another completely different
yes. So usually, I think most of the sessions, brainstorming sessions, don't work out is also because there's not enough preparation that goes into doing this session, right? So if there was even a lot of, if you came prepared and if you knew what you want the group to brainstorm on, then the outcome is much better. And if you already knew, it's easier to put it on a piece of paper or something somewhere. Then, so yeah, of course, pre-preparation for the game is a key to the success of what kind of outcome you will get. So if you don't have the right questions and the right corner cases and right personas here, you will probably end up with another, yeah.
And did you make the software to where you can input all the user info and cards and you can print everything, or?
Oh no, we had the PDF versions. We were kind of thinking of making it open source, but it's still on one side. So you could just download and print them in whatever kind of printing paper you want, and just cut them out.
Also, how do you select the projects you go to? Or if say, for example, if you need someone's help with the game, do you just have to come and pay you?
Oh no, you can take this stuff from me, and I can just, if people are interested, I can share the PDF files for this. But the key would be that we only have these 5 things. You could just make a a shape cutout. You don't have, but having a picture, a character to the person, or always makes it more realistic. So we always have these pictures here, but those are not enough. So, and even after the workshop, people got so attached to it that they actually took these things with them, and some of them like putting it. So I think people really start once it shows us that they really the empathy level increases as soon as you do it in something like this. So yeah, if you have got people who can make good caricatures, yeah. Sure.
Did you have people with the next day that still wanted to be this person?
Sorry?
Did you have person the day after that still wanted to be this person that they liked?
How did you come up with this format in the board game? did you brainstorm some other ways of brainstorming before?
Yes, yes. We did think of multiple ideas, but through I think when we were trying to find out the reason why things are not working the way they should, the kind of things that we came up to are like what I was showing here. You know that you need to keep the focus on the user. You should not divert away from the issues. Generate as many, so the quantity of ideas is the key. So what we figured, the reason why we chose game probably is because it was more, it felt like you're not really working, you're kind of playing. So you'll see like people like fighting between each other, let me shuffle it, or let me do it. So everybody's showing their tricks, and so it kind of, and also like when you're rotating this, people really try to really rotate it very fast, like, oh, I want a different number now, and, and they would go like that. So I think that probably the fun factor of the game made us make the choice between game versus any other format. Yeah, but it could have been done in many other ways.
It's great stuff. Thank you so much.